Everybody Loves Cookies by Neon Getsu, Chapter 22. Place your bets. Yes, excellent. I haven't had this much fun in ages. What did you say your name was again? Place your bets. Since Team never stood a chance, Yang didn't consider herself the gambling sort, but she knew stacked odds when she saw them. That Team Sun was summarily manhandled, torn with, picked apart, and destroyed one by one, be it by simple or exhaustion or painful ring out, or they were beaten down one by one and defeated. Sun himself was the last to fall, and she was sure his ego had taken a bruising. What was the term video games used? Flawless victory. Yeah, that was it. And there we have it. A Port's voice boomed from the booth to ricochet applause. Team Silver advanced. A fantastic show. A shame it ended so quickly. Sovereign indeed. Scavengers more like. Yang liked to think she was a pretty considerate gal, but this was too much even for her. Bad enough that Adam's team wasn't here, and she was sure Blake wouldn't go berserker when she saw them. But now Dad was being a proper troll about this. No one was beating him and his so-called team. Not Juniper, and certainly not Team Ruby. Hey, that's cheating. Nor gave her a sidelined look. And you think Port cares because? Fair point. Port did what Port wanted. Probably easy to bribe him. But what about Professor Doctor? The teacher, furious voice interjected from the booth with the very fury of thousands of suns. Dr. Ooblik, she amended a little ruefully, not wanting to receive an avalanche of extra homework. Isn't it obvious? Piri hid a smile behind her hand. Father probably bribed him with the finest grade A coffee he had in stock. Indeed, we did. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. There was Team Sovereign now, traipsing up the steps, looking far too smug with themselves. Those were very good disguises. They certainly held up well under scrutiny, and no amount of poking or prodding on Pira and Nora's part seemed to rate them. No, not Nita. This was the opposition of Nita. This was opposite of Nita. How the heck were they supposed to fight this team? I forfeit. No, we're in this together. Why scoffed at the lot of them? Have you no shame? Dad lifted his eye patch and winked. Shame is for the dead. Why scream? No. The surly Schneeg stabbed an outraged finger at him, redder than Ruby's namesake. Not you two. Ruby scuffed a foot on the floor. I thought it was funny. Dad patted her head. It was, Petal. It was. I know. Good jokes. I don't get any ideas. Mom was still a smug bitch. Even when she looked at half her age. It's a temporary thing. We'll be back to normal in a few days. Sapphire swiped her daughter's questioning finger away from her cheek. Vanessa did the same for Pyrrha, albeit far more kindly. Appearances only, I assure you. The former hummed. We can and will take you over by the knee if you get any ideas. Speaking of ideas, Nata rounded on Pyrrha. What's this I hear about you dating a certain blonde teammate? Yang winced. Good thing John was off using the boys' room right about now. Yeah, but he was screwed when he got back. Pyrrha buried her face in her hands. Daddy, no, it's not like that. Daddy, yes, I want to talk to him. Blake raised a hand. I may be dating Yang in the future. Would that be a problem? Yang squawked, both embarrassed and excited all at once. Excuse me. Dad gave her a long lingering look. Seems fine to me. Traitor, double standards. Don't I get a say in this? No. Dad looked to the left suddenly and frowned. His eyes met Mom's. They should have nodded. I'll be right back. He could sense them. Wasn't all that hard, given his abilities. So there was a certain joy to be had in one children when children that he found, but also in protecting them. In his the best problem were the ones that they never knew about. Those he discreetly dealt with before they realized what was going on. This was one such problem. A quick glance at Raven and Vanessa told them to watch over the kids, and he knew that at least Sapphire got the message before she returned to decline. Freeing him of any worry to pursue the matter, he followed the negative swirl of emotions away from his family, away from the crowds, away from the stands, deeper into amity. Down he went, threading his way through dimly lit halls, illuminated by fluorescent lights, away from the festival and into the bowls of the beast. It was there that he found them. Even a deaf man could have heard them with the racket they were making. Careful with those charges. One of them hissed. We've only got one shot at this. His gaze narrowed at the sight of the charges. There weren't many, but then again, there didn't have to be. Time to intervene. White Fang, ready. He stepped out. He stepped around the corner with a sigh, causing the terrorist to jolt. I thought Adam already taught you a lot of lesson. Sorry, but this is as far as you go. He stood out of the shadows, blocking their path. I wouldn't let the kids enjoy their first tournament in peace, you know. So unless you find someone willing to take Cinder's place, the silence was their answer. He cast a glance back. You did, didn't you? His lips thinned. Who was it then? Sienna, Ilya, Triffa, some other White Fang fool? None of the above. Come on, give an old baker a hint. Tell me their name, and I'll spare you. No response. Blasted fanatics. He should have bothered. You, my Triffa, even you, Ilya. He clicked the tongue, taking them in. Adam told me about you three, which means, a whip snapped at him out of the dark. He caught it with one hand. Your boss must be here. He yanked, and a startled yell was his reward as someone flew past him, right into his arm. He casually clotheslined them and sent them spinning into their fellows. Dark skin gleamed in the corner of his eyes. Their darker hair and bright amber golden eyes. Disappointment seared through him, hot in head. Honestly, Sienna, I thought you were smarter than that. That you knew better than this. The so-called leader of the White Fang righted herself with a groan. We don't have any choice. Yes, you do. He shook his head. You can walk away, or you can die. And you, Ilya. His gaze singled out with the one masked individual among the rest. Blake would be so disappointed in you. The little chameleon fondness wilted and rallied under the glares of her fellows. Adam betrayed us. He'll sell us out to Atlas. Is that your reason for being here? A shot of revenge? The faces said it all. Of course you are. He clicked his tongue at them in mild admonishment. How has that worked out for you? He looked left, then right, sneering at every soul inside him. Not so well, I take it. Even if you somehow managed to pull this off, you'd have the entire world after you. Really, I'm doing you a favor, but I don't see Watts or Hazel with you, which means you must be the distraction. He stepped to the side. Guns came up. How adorable. If you think I'm the real danger here, you're absolutely mistaken. Sienna scowled. You overestimate yourself. You're just one man. All men die sooner or later, even someone like you. There it is. He raised the finger, pointed. Right there. That's the look. Everyone thinks that they'll be the one to defeat me, to outrun me, to outwit me, but no one's escaped me yet. Do you think you're the first to try this, my dear? No. He shook his head, setting his blonde bangs swaying. There have been so many now. I've honestly lost track of them. It's almost sad. When the grunts took the bait, bless their simple soul. What is the fact that I no longer remember all the men and women I've killed? He pushed a hand through his hair and glared down at them. And by the end of the day, I probably don't remember any of you either. They broke ranks and rushed him. Slow. He slapped Ilya's whip out of the air. The bat fondness blitzed him. Sloppy. A quick twist to the right. Sad. You're not living out to the White Fang legend here, kids. Alright. He leapt away, pivoted, stepped forward, and spread his arms wide. I'll play. You have 9 seconds. Credit word was due. They acted quickly. He'd give them full work. He'd give them full marks for that. A whip cracked out, obliterating his right eye. He allowed it. 1 second. Clenched knuckles slammed into his face, obliterating half his skull. 2 seconds. His head snapped backwards. 5. In the same instant, that fist closed around it and snapped him down. Twice, once, twice, thrice. He was still reeling when his would-be killer leaped away. When the rest unloaded on him, filling his body with holes. 6 explosive rounds. They done their homework. 7. He slumped where he lay. 8. Blood slid down the concrete. A sword slammed into his back and severed his spine. 9. Crimson pooled beneath him as his ruined body slumped to the street. Silence pervaded the night, followed by a low laughter. Excellent! His head rose with a cackle. The wounds in his body already regenerated. I haven't had this much fun in ages. With an awful pop, his broken bodies realigned themselves. His eyes sought their leader. What did you say your name was again? I've already forgotten. The White Fang radicals shrank back to a man. You want to know why Adam betrayed you? He laughed right in their eyes. Love. There you go. My son's in love. You silly nit. twits. Love makes you do crazy things, or maybe not so crazy, given he was once part and parcel to this madness. Sienna brandished her whip with a snarl. He sold us out, a blonde brown rose, and this is my problem. How? If you die, everything will go back to normal. Everything. Sienna choked as he seized her by the throat, or hoisting her up and slamming her against the nearest bulkhead. Now, normal. He rasped out a laugh and raised her higher still. Sweetheart, you're a few decades too late for that, and this is the end of the line for you. He squeezed, broke her neck, and she went limp in his grip. It was a better death than she deserved. He let her corpse drop like so much refuse. Next, humor rushed him. Foolishness. He tore him apart and left his severed halves to fall to his feet. Trevor clambered backwards. Monster! What are you? Child, he sighed. I don't hate you. If anything, I pity you. You let Watts whisper in your ears and promise you power he can't even provide. She scowled at him. I'm no child of yours. You may as well be. He tutted at them. I'm older than you could even begin to comprehend. Would you believe me if I tried to change the white tank once? He shrugged. Didn't work out, of course. There were extenuating circumstances, and now I see why. You see, just this once, just this once, violence isn't the answer, really. Today, violence is the question. He pulled them forward, grinning in the face, and the answer is yes. Trivia tried to scream. He didn't let her. Clawed fingers flashed across her throat. Hazel regarded his scroll and the bloody footage within. The hidden camera had done its work well. He saw the last desperate stand of the white fang radicals and watched them die. It was not a clean death. Naruto slaughtered them all down to the last man, laughing all the while. Really, it was the laughter that unnerved him. Hazel thought himself a hard man, but how one individual could have lied in such a visceral death disturbed him. He killed them all. No, wait, he told a lie. One ran. It was the little chameleon fondness. Naruto walked after her, dripping blood. He closed down his scroll and touched 2 fingers to his ear. They failed. He won't be distracted much longer. A loss of life is still something to be mourned, no matter the side. Don't go soft on me, Hazel. He wasn't. He merely found this regrettable. What's after? Do you have eyes on those brats of his? He looked at the stands below. I do. Excellent. To kill them and take one alive if you can. But not the blonde one. We know Raven Blonde has supported to her at least. You knew naturally. He could just imagine the man twirling his mustache on the line at the beginning of a scour rod his stern face, and you didn't think to tell Cintra she could have survived had she known this. Shame she didn't. So that was it then. He withheld information knowing it would lead to her demise. Her plan was flawed. Mine is not. Now take the girl. That will be sure to drive our whiskered friend mad with fury. We want him angry and distracted. He will rush into the trap we've laid, and when he does, an awful squeal of static filled his ears. Eliciting a flinch, he frowned and tapped the earpiece again. What was that? What happened? Salutations! A girl's mere cheer answered him. This line now belongs to Atlas. You are both under arrest. What swore in an utterly unprofessional oath. We've been had to get out of there before. A mighty shout drowned out his words. Atlas specialist, open up! He heard the sound of someone breaking down a door. Fools! Do you have any idea who I am? The line died with a pain squawk. Hazel was still processing with that when something sharp and thin looped around his neck. In an instant, he was dragged backwards, hauled into the shadows. Garrett the dust wire, he realized, eyes bulging, expensive, deadly. He could barely feel it burning his throat. Choke his voice down. He tried to work his fingers under it, to no avail. He only succeeded in blooding his fingertips. Air. He needs air. He hadn't had time to breathe. Hello there. A low feminine voice crooned in his ear as he rasped for oxygen. We couldn't help but notice that you eyeing our daughters over there. You're not exactly the subtle type. Her words sounded sweet, but he knew that they were the purest of poison. Do us a favor and die quietly, won't you? It would be so much easier for all parties involved. Hazel lumbered backwards and tried tried to smash her against the wall to no avail. She clung on, tightening the wire in his neck. He couldn't grasp it. Couldn't grab her. She positioned herself perfectly behind him, and his arms were far too large to reach her properly. Panic mounted within him. Air, need it now. I hear you can't feel pain. Sapphire hissed in his ear as she drew his nose tight. Well, that's just fine with me. You don't need to feel pain to breathe. You need air, and you have none now. Hazel slammed a fist backwards. He was rewarded with a grunt, yet still she held on. He could not. Thought you could go after my Nora, did you? She leaned closer, all but hissing in his ear. My baby girl? I don't think so. I only just found her again. You don't get to take her away from me. He tried to retort to that effect, but only a rasping gurgle emerged. Ruby wanted to chop off your head. Vanessa said we should cut you in half and be done with it. We disagreed. Both of those are too quick. You see, when your hopes and dreams are nashes, when you're choking out your last breath, then you have permission to die. His vision began to go grey at the edge, and his struggles weakened. Death. This was the end of his life, and he could do nothing to stop it. He couldn't die like this. All his life he had fought for vengeance against Ospen, for Gretchen, for the sake of his family, that which he had lost. To die here, no, he couldn't. He was. I see a light. Good. General Underwood himself stepped out of a side corridor and pressed the barrel of a hand cannon to his temple. Walked towards it. Hazel's eyes widened as he stared down the barrel of the gun. So that was it then. They'd been outplayed from the start. A harsh bang took all light and color from his world. Darkness rushed in. Hazel hoped he would see his sister at the end of it. He did not. Previous, an explosion rocketed the arena. Hello, Salem. Come to collect what's left of your minions, have you? Sorry, I'm not done. Time passed as all things do. Little arms reached for him. Dad, up. No, me first. Me. I was first. Hard to believe it's almost over. And anybody want the cookies to be before we close up shop? Ruby's arm shot into the air. Me. End of chapter 22.